Hello everyone, I am Varun Gupta and you are watching Natural English and this is Verbal Ability Capsule 22, your sure short guide to improve your command over words, phrases and expressions. The first natural English piece today is, at the meeting I had with the managing director yesterday, I decided that in the long run, I'd be better off sticking my neck out and being honest, rather than clutching at straws and coming out with something I don't really believe in. So I told him that we'd have to lay off half the workforce if we wanted to break even next year. Now this is a very natural English example which is used by native speakers. Now let us look at the interesting phrases. Today we have got in all 14 phrases, out of which 8 are entirely new and 6 will be revisions from earlier capsules. Let's begin with the first one, which is a very simple one. In the long run, a relatively long period of time. Whatever is your normal idea or normal reference, when you talk about a longer period than that, then we call it in the long run. They will win out in the long run. In the long run, after a lot of time, ultimately they are going to win. Now this sentence means that immediately in the short run they will lose. They will suffer a lot of problems, but in the long run they will win. Please understand, dear friends, we use it to denote that in the short run immediately the outcome will be reverse, opposite, but in the long run this will happen. So when I say they will win out in the long run, I mean to intend that initially they will lose, but in the long run they will win. You will find it beneficial in the long run. It basically means that you might face a lot of problems initially, immediately, but after a long time you will find it beneficial. The second phrase, dear friend, is be better off. Now just to revise, that be means is, am, are, was, were, will be, can be, shall be, and better off is followed by verb first form plus ing. It means in a better situation or having more money generally. If you have got bags, you are better off taking a taxi. If you have got bags, if you have got a luggage with you, then it will be better if you take a taxi. If you don't have luggage, you can walk. But if you have luggage, then it will be better if you take a taxi. You'd be better off living on your own than quarreling all the time with your dad. Then is comparing between two activities. One activity is quarreling all the time with your dad. So speaker is talking to somebody, some youngster probably, who is all the time quarreling with his or her dad. So the speaker says, it will be better if you live on your own. That means have a separate home, afford your own expenditure and live on your own rather than quarreling with your dad all the time. The next phrase, dear friends, today is to stick one's neck out. Not to be afraid to say what one really thinks will happen. You are not at all afraid to say your real thinking. You express yourself frankly, knowing that one may later be proved to be wrong or get into trouble for saying it. You know very well that whatever you are saying may be wrong, or you may face a lot of troubles because of it. Even then you speak, then you are sticking your neck out. Some people very proudly say that I am very frank, I am very blunt, I always speak frankly, whatever may be the outcome. So such people are sticking their necks out. I am going to stick my neck out for you and present your idea to the boss. Now here the speaker is saying that I am going to stick my neck out for you. That means I know that I may get into trouble, but still I'll speak for you and I'll present your idea to the boss. I will be loyal to him. He stuck his neck out for me at the last meeting. When we had the last meeting, he frankly spoke for me, knowing pretty well that many people will get angry at him, but even then he spoke for me, so I will be loyal to him, I will always be truthful to him, I will support him. The next one is clutching at straws. To clutch at straws basically means to be desperate to achieve something when there is little hope of success. You know that very common Hindi proverb, डूबते को तिनके का सहारा. To clutch at straws. Tinka is straw. You clutch, you hold the straws. You know that they may not be enough to help you come out of water, but you are desperate to survive, and therefore you clutch at straws. You want to take help of every possible opportunity, even if there is very little hope of success. She offered to take a pay cut to keep her job. To keep her job, to continue the job, to avoid being thrown out of job, to take a pay cut. She offered that, please sir, don't throw me out of job, you can definitely reduce my salary. But she was just clutching at straws. The speaker says that there was no hope of her to be continuing in the job. But even then, she just made a last effort, offering that, sir, please cut my salary, but please continue me in the job. A drowning man will clutch at a straw. डूबते को तिनके का सहारा. That's very interesting to note that two different languages, two different cultures have got a very similar sounding proverb. A drowning man, a man who is drowning in water, will clutch at a straw. He will try to hold a straw and hope to survive. Next one is come out with something, not come out of something. Remember, come out with something. To come out with something basically means to say something suddenly and unexpectedly. You immediately speak something, so you are coming out with something. He comes out with the strangest things. He speaks strangest things, things which are most strange, very, very unexpected. He speaks those things. She comes out with some good ideas though, but she speaks some very good ideas. She speaks immediately, unexpectedly, but they are really good ideas. Lay off. From commerce and law, lay off basically means to end someone's employment, especially temporarily. Stop doing something. When you lay off somebody, you refuse that today or for a week or for some time, I may not be in a condition to offer you employment. Then you are laying them off. Millions of people have been laid off in the steel industry. It's basically a European sentence. In the steel industry, millions of people, million means 10 lakhs, right? So lakhs and lakhs of people have been laid off. They have been refused for employment. They did not sell a single car for a month. They are talking about a car company or a car distributorship. They did not sell a single car for a month and had to lay off workers. They had to end the employment of workers. The next one is break even. We break even when we reach the level of no profit, no loss. We reach the level of no profit, no loss. Please understand, the language basically tells you that from a condition of loss, you are reaching the level of no profit, no loss, right? Please understand, suppose this is a zero level. So initially we reach from loss to profit. So this is break even. But in suppose there is a recession and you again go down, so this is not break even, right? This is dipping into losses. But when from a condition of loss you reach into profits, then there is a point of break even. The company expects to break even during the fourth quarter of 2002. Fourth quarter means October, November, December of 2002. The company expects to reach the level of no profit, no loss. That means presently it is in loss. In 2003 it will be in profits. But last quarter of 2002 will be break-even quarter. I know it's a cliche. Cliche means a very old, outdated word or saying. But during a slump, when economy is going down, you should count yourself lucky if you can break even. Everybody is going down. So you should count yourself lucky. You will be lucky if you feel that you are having no profit, no loss. It's basically a lucky situation because everybody else is having losses. Let's look at the complete expression, dear friends. At the meeting I had with the MD yesterday, that means I had a meeting with the managing director yesterday, and in that meeting I decided that I took a decision that in the long run, ultimately, I'd be better off sticking my neck out. It will be better of me if I talk very frankly and bluntly and being honest. and I should be very, very honest. When we speak frankly, bluntly, then we are being very, very honest. We are avoiding all diplomacy. Rather than clutching at straws, I should not try to take help of small things and coming out with something I don't really believe in and saying something that I don't really believe in. I speak something just to save my skin before my managing director, and it is not good for me. I should be speaking frankly. So I told him, and therefore I told him that we'd have to lay off half the workforce. We will have to refuse employment to 50% of our employees if we wanted to break even next year. That means we are in losses, and if we really want to have no profit, no loss, we have to terminate or we have to refuse employment to at least 50% of our employed people. It is definitely a very honest and frank statement, and when you say so, you are sticking your neck out. You are not taking help of useless supports, you are not clutching at straws, you are simply speaking, coming out with something that is very, very strong and frank. The next example, dear friends, he used to put up with his aunt's odd behavior, putting it down to eccentricity, but she really rubbed him up the wrong way when she disrupted his wedding celebrations, and that was the final straw. Put up with, when you put up with something, you tolerate it, you endure it. Tolerate, bardasht karna, endure, sahan karna. When you feel the pain but don't complain, then you are enduring. And when you allow somebody to make mistakes and don't complain and don't discipline them, you are tolerating them. He had put up with a lot of bad behavior from his son. He had tolerated a lot of bad behavior from his son and thought it was time to teach him a lesson. Now the time is ripe to teach him a lesson. Now I must take him to task. Now I must scold him and teach him discipline. I can put up with the house being untidy. I can endure if the house is untidy. I can tolerate it. Untidy means unclean. But I hate it if it is not clean. Untidy means things are not arranged properly. Things are kept here and there. It's okay. But if it is dust, there is dirt, then I don't like it. That basically means if it is not arranged, it's okay. But if it is unclean, I will not be able to tolerate it. So here the speaker says that if things are not in their proper place, it's okay. But if the house is full of dirt and dust, then I hate it. The next one is odd behavior. It's a very, very common phrase. Strange, unpredictable, not liked, not respected socially. When a behavior is not common, when nobody can say what you can do next, you are unpredictable, and people don't like or respect this behavior socially. Society does not like or respect it, then it is odd behavior. You do something which is unexpected and not socially accepted. Kalidas is known for his odd behavior while cutting a tree. Kalidas was cutting a tree, sitting on a branch and cutting the same branch from the root of it. So definitely when the branch is cut, he will fall down. So this was definitely an odd behavior. Many people even today do the same when they do something which is hurting their own nation. Some people, for their political beliefs, start hurting their own nation. They are Indians, but they do something which is destroying India. So this is definitely a very much odd behavior. Nobody will like you if you continue your odd behavior. If you keep on doing your odd behavior, then nobody will like you. People will start making a distance from you. So don't continue odd behavior. Next one is putting it down to. When you trace something or when you consider that something is caused by somebody, then you put something down to somebody. You put down it to this thing, right? If I put A down to B, so I am saying that B is the reason of A. If I say B is the reason of A, I am putting A down to B. Partly this can be put down to the car's design. Up to some extent, the reason of this is the design of the car. The hike in value is put down to a boost in consumer confidence. The value has gone up, and the reason of this is that consumer confidence has been boosted. Now consumers are having tremendous confidence. The confidence has gone up, and therefore the value is increasing. Eccentricity. Now please, we need to compare these two, odd behavior and eccentricity. Eccentricity is deviation from an established pattern or norm. When you deviate, when you go away from something which is well established, which is accepted by everybody, you go away from it. Odd or whimsical behavior. Odd behavior is also eccentricity. Whimsical behavior is also eccentricity. Whimsical, when you just believe in your own whims and fancies, they may be wrong socially, but you keep on doing them, it is your eccentricity. Some people weren't very tolerant of his eccentricity. He was eccentric, he was always behaving odd in an odd manner, whimsically. So many people or some people were not tolerating his eccentricity. They were not in a condition to excuse this eccentricity. Talking to her plants is one of her many eccentricities. Now she talks to her plants. Now if you don't know how to talk to plants, how to talk to nature, definitely you will call it eccentricity. But those of you who understand that nature talks to us and we can talk to the nature, for them talking to her plants will not be her eccentricity. This will be her spirituality or her natural behavior. The next phrase is rub him up the wrong way. When you rub somebody up the wrong way, you are irritating somebody or annoying somebody. You are making him unhappy by your behavior. He really knows how to rub his boss up the wrong way. Now here it is said that this person keeps on irritating the boss. He knows it. Now basically you should not do so, but when you keep on doing it again and again, then you know this. Be very careful when you deal with this man. Be very careful when you deal with this man. When you make a deal or when you behave with this person, you should be careful. Don't rub him up the wrong way. Don't irritate him. He seems very touchy. He is very touchy. He will immediately react, and that may not be a very positive reaction. Disrupt. Disrupt is a very useful word because we denote somebody's behavior as disruption. When to prevent someone from continuing with what they were doing. They were doing something and you prevent them from doing that, then you are disrupting them. To spoil an occasion or event, etc., by causing a disturbance. When you spoil the occasion, the entire occasion is spoiled, the event is spoiled. You cause a lot of disturbance and the entire occasion is spent or event is spoiled, then you have disrupted it. The barking dogs disrupted my sleep. Dogs were barking and my sleep was disturbed. The weather disrupted our travel plans. We had plans to travel, but because of the bad weather, we could not proceed with our travel plans. The final straw, the last straw, the last of a succession of irritations, incidents, remarks, etc., that leads to a loss of patience or a disaster. Some people were irritating you again and again. Some incidents were happening which were not likable. Some remarks were very odd and they were keep on happening again and again. But the last one came and ultimately you lost your patience or a disaster took place. This was the final straw or the last straw. The last straw in their relationship was when he physically abused her. He and she were not having good relations, but the last straw came when he physically abused her. When he beat up her, then she decided to call it over. I am not going to wait for the last straw like you always do. You always have a lot of patience and you take action only when the last straw comes, but I will not wait for last straw. I will take action very early. Let's look at the complete sentence, dear friends. He used to put up with his aunt's odd behavior. He used to tolerate the odd behavior of his auntie, putting it down to eccentricity, and he believed that it is because she is eccentric. She is not proper, not sociable. She is eccentric. She does something which is odd and strange. But she really rubbed him up the wrong way. But one day she irritated him completely when she disrupted his wedding celebrations. He was enjoying his wedding, he was celebrating his wedding, and the aunt disrupted the proceeding, and that was the final straw. That day, he decided, I just can't tolerate this lady anymore. Thank you, dear friends. Watch it 2 times if need be. But please make notes of all these phrases and try to make sentences of your own. I assure you that these phrases will sound that you speak very natural English and you will be at par with native speakers. Thank you. Enjoy.